I think there is I think there's a fine balance with this stuff. It's like there are people out there who anytime you put a veteran on the floor, they're gonna raise hell. I think as long as you're seeing enough of them, like, and I think it makes it even more difficult because Frank Ntilikina in particular has been this lightning rod over the last few years. You mentioned him in your, I forget if it was your last column or your next to last one, and you mentioned he might be gone at the trade deadline because he's obviously entering restricted free agency. I thought he'd be gone by now. I thought he was going to get traded at some point in the last 3 weeks. And I'm a little surprised he didn't because, again, we don't have to spell it out. Look at all the guys they brought in at the wing. They were desperate for literally anyone at point guard, right? To get in here. I don't see the organizational belief in him. And this is now a fourth coach. This is now however many people running New York. Are you a little surprised he didn't get dealt in the last week or two? Or do you think that's just more a function of they came close and they couldn't work something out? Or what do you think?
Yeah, I think there's time. I think they want to see him. And listen, they don't look at him as a point guard to play starters minutes, but coming off the bench and playing some defense for 18 minutes a night and maybe some point guard, they see a smaller role for Frank. But listen, he's going to be a free agent. He may have some decent trade value for a team needing a jolt at the trade deadline. And if they know they're not going to re-sign him, you might as well see what you could get for him, especially since they are in the mode of collecting draft picks. Dennis Smith has no trade value right now.
Oh, so harsh.
Put him out on media day. They only made 3 players available, and Dennis Smith Jr. was one of them.
Yeah.
And I know they're trying to trade him, but they need to build up his trade value. They're talking up a big game behind the scenes that Dennis is going to compete for the starting point guard job, blah, blah, blah. I just don't see it. Listen, his first couple of years in Dallas, he played decently. He had some real big games. In fact, a triple-double on his last game as a Maverick. Yeah. But last season was such a regression. I know so many bad things happened to him, including, unfortunately, the passing of his stepmother. But if he doesn't show anything in training camp, he's not going to play. There's plenty of point guards on that roster, but they would love to build up his trade value again and give him some playing time. And listen, he was the 9th pick in the draft, and some people during that draft thought he might go top 5. So there's something there, but he just did not improve. And we'll see if the shooting coach, Mohamed Abdul-Rauf, has helped him, get an outside shot. He's turnover prone. He's not a good defender. Thibodeau is great with point guards. We'll see what he could do.
Yeah, I don't know if I had heard, around the way that Steve Mills, I don't know if it was a promise, but had basically told him, look, we'll find another home for you before last season's trade deadline. And then Steve Mills got reassigned, shall we say.
Well, but no one wanted, they couldn't trade him. There was no one, maybe a 2023 second round pick, but that regime with Mills and Perry, when Perry had more power, Dennis Smith Jr. was part of their legacy. He was the key pawn in the Porzingis trade. Now Leon Rose couldn't care less about that trade. Dennis Smith is just a point guard. But again, they put him out on media day, one of 3 players to talk. They are trying to make him visible. And from what I'm told, they're trying to boost that non-existent trade value.
God, so harsh. You're talking about the guy like he was the worst player in the NBA last season. Oh, wait, he probably was. It wasn't pretty.
It really was. And, listen, I
feel bad for him too. And I just want to say, I know he had a rough.
It really was. And you could, from his words, he talks very philosophically about bouncing back from something like that. And he does sound confident that this year will be different. And let's pray for him.
Yeah, I hope it is for many reasons.